Thank you, Madam President, and through you to the members. To my friend from Spencer, Ann Goby, thank you for the very kind introduction. Thank you for your friendship, your partnership, and I look forward to boarding that eastbound train. I'm getting on in Springfield. We're stopping in Palmer because there will be a Palmer stop, and we'll head together into Boston. We'll be near the beverage cart. On a serious note, Ann, you're a great friend, a fellow warrior for our region, and I so appreciate your leadership, your partnership, you're a true partner in arms. I really appreciate it. Thank you. To my colleague and friend from Newton, the Majority Leader, Cindy Cream, I'll miss our late-night kibitzing sessions. I didn't realize I came across with all that Jewish guilt, but we spent a lot of time together over a lot of late nights, waiting for those papers from the House, waiting for those conference committee reports, sometimes waiting just to wait. But I so appreciate your leadership, your mentorship, your vision, your partnership over the last 8 years. Our work together, along with our departing colleague from Worcester, has helped hundreds of schools, community centers, houses of worship, and other nonprofits protect themselves in an era of rising hate and intolerance. Thank you. From the moment I raised my right hand in this chamber 8 years ago, to my departure today, and frankly for the rest of my life, I will always be filled with immense gratitude for the opportunity to represent the hopes, the dreams, the fears, and the very real needs of the people who come from the 1st Hampden and Hampshire District. The honor of representing my home community was only matched by the chance to do so alongside each of you, as you did the same for each of your communities. I routinely watched in awe at the dedication each of you brought to your work. I learned something new every day serving in this body from each of you. During one late night phone call, just as a small example, Senator Feeney taught me how to lay telephone lines. I didn't actually do it, but he explained it over the phone. I'm not going to try. Madam President, thank you for your trust and your partnership these last 8 years, and the example you set for toughness, for vision, and for follow-through. Millions of people in our state will be getting mental health screenings for the first time ever, thanks to that tenacity. To my friend from Westport, the Chair of Ways and Means, a lot of phone calls, a lot of text messages, a lot of late nights and early mornings through 3 economic development bills, sports betting, life sciences, tens of millions of dollars in programs for our small businesses, and a lot else. You've been a great friend. To my Western Mass colleagues, Adam Hines, John Vilas, Joe Comerford, Adam Gomez, Ann Goby. Thank you for bringing a team spirit to every challenge. It's truly been a team for the 413. And thank you for always having my back on East-West Rail, West-East Rail. When I first started here, I remember standing in the reading room, and one of my new colleagues, who has now since left, walked over to me and said, "Lesser, you'll get nothing done here unless 20 other senators agree with you," and then walked away, probably to grab a sandwich or something. Truer words, quite frankly, have never been spoken. Our work here in the Senate is collective by design, and that's the fun of it. The phone calls, the long meetings, the late nights, trying to get everyone on the same page. We all grumble about it and complain about it and moan about it, But as you look back, once it's over, it's actually kind of fun. And it's important because we get a lot done. And collaboration always leads to better results. I firmly believe that. The work responding to COVID-19, fighting for rural communities, protecting a woman's right to choose, police reform, gateway cities, regional transit authorities, the work we did on substance abuse, civics, mental health care, zoning reform, transportation, veterans issues, oversight hearings, unemployment insurance, climate change, conservation, and on and on and on. Each one of you brought immense passion and expertise, but also a spirit of getting to yes and getting big things done. Frankly, that was a big difference from what I saw in Washington. And I will always remember fondly and with gratitude the work we were able to do together. There are so many to thank, but I want to take a moment to single out a few. To the incredible staff here at the State House, our clerk, Michael Hurley, and our former clerk, William Welch of blessed memory, and their teams. Thank you for always making us look good. I also want to thank our court officers, always ready to support and so upbeat. Paul, even at 3 a.m. To the entire team at the Council's office, the Senate President's office, Ways and Means, thank you for your dedication and support. I know we all feel this way, but I definitely have the best staff anywhere. They worked tirelessly around the clock, weekends, holidays, helping constituents when unemployment insurance was stuck, or housing or heating assistance or childcare support was turned off, or who otherwise just needed their voice to be heard or somebody to listen and take the time to hear what was on their mind. Round after round of document red lines, crosswalks, talking points, meeting preps, amendment redrafts and redrafts and redrafts, scheduling requests, community meetings, grant applications. It can be tiring and thankless work. But my team truly gave it every ounce of love and attention that they had. In particular, I want to thank my Chief of Staff and General Counsel, Stephanie Swanson. Stephanie started working for me the first day I walked into this building. She helped put together 3 economic development bills, managed 4 caucuses, and hundreds of pieces of legislation, all while getting married, moving, and having 2 children along the way. Stephanie, you were part of everything that we did, and I'm very thankful to you. I also want to thank Michael Clark, who put together my first state Senate campaign in 2014 and was with me along thousands of miles of trips up and down the Mass Pike, literally thousands, we've calculated it. We often left well before sunrise and came back long after sunset. Interesting trivia that the Western Mass team will appreciate. When you leave, you're facing into the sun, and when you go home, you're also facing into the sun. So we invested in good sunglasses. A special thank you also to Joel McAuliffe, Molly Trowbridge, Jennifer Metch, Ryan McGeed, Brianna Johnson, Mary Lee Walsh, Nick Nato, Samantha Bone, Megan Corrigan, Liz Storms, Alex Reamer, Stefan Sajic, and Noah Secundo. Each of you put immense amounts of time, skill, and passion into your work. It made me look good. You were the best team any leader could ever have. I've also been blessed with some of the most loyal and enthusiastic supporters anyone could hope for in politics. Cindy alluded to some of them. People who would run through walls, jump over hoops, and truly do anything to support our mission of connecting Western Mass and improving life in our neglected region. In particular, I owe so much to Candy Glazer, my campaign chair for 9 years, my close friend and my confidant. Thank you, Candy. I have the best and most loving family a person could have. My father, Martin Lesser, who rose from the projects of Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn, to treating patients as a family doctor in Holyoke. And my mother, Joan Granucci Lesser, a child of New York's Little Italy, who helped thousands of vulnerable people in Western Mass as a clinical social worker. My parents taught me the power of relentless hard work and loyalty to loved ones. I also want to thank my sisters, Rebecca and Julia, and their husbands, Sam and Patrick, and my nephew, Ezra, who are always sources of fun and support and always ready to help with lawn signs and phone calls. Proud uncle moment, but my sister is due literally any minute for Ezra's sibling, so we're all on pins and needles about that. I know she's watching from home. Above all, I owe everything to my wife, Allison, and my children, Rose, Nora, and David. Everything we do in politics must be about the next generation, the generation before us and the generations that come after us. There's an ancient Hebrew saying known as Lador Vador, which means from generation to generation, an unbroken string that reaches behind us and reaches in front of us into eternity, that links all people and creates obligation between all people. It's in every culture, it's in every religion, it's in every place and time. But the concept is pretty simple. We're handed a baton, and then we hand off a baton. And what you do while you have the baton is meant to make life better, stronger, easier for who you hand the baton to next. A life in politics is meaningful. It's important, but it's not easy. It's a life of service, which means your time is never your own. And over the last 8 years, I was away a lot. At community meetings, late night sessions, campaign stops, constituent events, we all know what's involved in this work. It's deeply fulfilling work, but it takes a toll on your family. My wife, Allison, supported me at every step with great love and sacrifice, as did my children. They are my greatest joy, and their commitment allowed everything else. My friends, we've worked together through tumultuous times, pandemics, recessions, racial reckonings. You have to go far back in history to find comparable periods of challenge and change. But taking a step back from the daily headlines, one trend has been clear my entire time in office. Massachusetts is growing increasingly divided along economic and geographic lines. Yes, technology and innovation has brought exceptional growth. Many of us remember when Kendall Square was mostly factory buildings. But that promise has not been felt everywhere. The gulf between many of our communities, especially our eastern and western halves, is more significant than ever. And if left unchecked, that divide will bring our whole state down. It will make all of us less well off. Yes, West-East Rail is going to help a lot. I'm not going to let this speech go by without talking about it, of course. But so will better housing. So will more life sciences jobs in underserved regions. So will arts and cultural development. So will manufacturing jobs and rural development and improving housing in gateway cities. There are many ways to tackle these historic challenges, and I know this body is up to it. Shortly after my election to the Senate, I went to see someone who could only be described as an old wise man. I don't know if that's politically correct to say anymore. He was a graybeard, a former elected official, who left the hurly-burly of politics many years earlier. I sat with him for a while, kind of absorbing his wisdom. I kept peppering him with questions. Abruptly, though, he turned to me, cut me off, and asked me a question. He said, "What is the most important vote you're going to take?" I was about to get sworn in. I said, "Honestly, I have no idea." So I started guessing. I said, "Is it the budget?" "Nah," he said. "The budget happens every year." No offense, Mr. Ways and Means Chair. He said, "Is it the leadership?" I asked. "Is it the vote for leadership?" "Nah," he said. "The leaders come and go." No offense, Madam President. "Taxes, schools, environment?" I don't know. I started peppering. He cut me off. "The most important vote," he said, "is the next one. Always focus on what's next." I'm so grateful for each of you. We've done a lot together, but there's always more to do. There's always a next one. More people to help, more problems to solve. There's always a new chance to make a difference. So in a few weeks, when a new session begins, I hopefully will be on a beach somewhere. New senators will take their oath. New bills will be filed. New committees will be formed. New energy and new ideas will be brought to bear on the same age-old problems. I'll be embarking on my own new paths as well. But I'll carry some incredible memories and some very important lessons along with me, lessons I learned from each of you. And for that, I will always be grateful. Thank you for your friendship, your partnership, and your inspiration for these last 8 years.